We've got more now from the scene of the disaster. Here, look at this amateur video. You can see injured people being evacuated in cars and trucks just moments after that quake hit. Let's go to Christchurch and speak to the man who shot that footage, Rhys Taylor. Rhys, just explain to us, we're looking at pictures of people on the roofs of cars being taken along a street. Where were you and what was happening there?
We'd literally just evacuated our building. We'd been outside about 5 or 10 minutes, and the one-way street you see there actually flows away from the hospital, and that plainclothes police car is actually heading the wrong way up the street straight to the hospital with the injured people on the back. So it was a pretty disturbing sight, really. We'd only just sort of gathered our wits about us and made sure everyone was accounted for, and then you're seeing the injured being carried into the hospital straight away.
And how many such scenes did you see? Was there a constant stream of cars heading towards the hospital?
Yes, well, actually, the most direct route to the hospital was actually just behind me over the river, and we saw a lot more sirens and a lot more cars flooding over that bridge there, but there were probably about 5 or 6 cars over the course of a 20-minute period when they had been getting the initially injured. Oh, sorry, there's a... Hang on. Sorry, the disc was just rattling there. There was another aftershock.
Was that another aftershock?
Yes, they've been unrelentless this evening. It's most unnerving to most of the residents, I imagine.
I can't imagine just how exposed and vulnerable the people like you who are in Christchurch at the moment must feel, Rhys, when you're getting these constant aftershocks. I just want to ask you about the moment of the earthquake. You were obviously quite close to the hospital. Just describe what happened when the quake hit.
Well, in the past, the aftershocks have sort of come in and they just sort of, you almost get a gentle introduction to the aftershock. Hey, I'm an aftershock, and the shaking starts. But this came with no warning at all. It slammed us, I was standing at the time, it knocked me off my feet against the wall. From the get-go, things were like light fittings were falling from the ceiling and bookshelves were moving around. By the time we'd left the office, it was unrecognisable, and a few others did venture back in, and it was definitely one of the most violent shakes we've had. I mean, people are calling it a whole new earthquake because it had a whole personality of its own. Yeah.
Yeah, officially they're calling it an aftershock, but certainly it is a very, very violent aftershock. How long did it last? And your immediate reaction was to get out of there, get straight into onto the street, was it? And everybody else had the same idea?
To be honest, if people around me hadn't been running out of the building, I probably would have stood there a bit shocked and stunned myself, not knowing what was going on. It just took me completely by surprise, took my breath away. But yeah, as soon as I realised and looked out the window and I thought, gosh, those cracks in the pavement were there earlier, just straight down the stairs and out onto the street as far away from any concrete structure that could possibly topple as possible, because they were certainly swaying, and it was most unnerving.
Now, it's just gone 10 p.m. in the evening now in Christchurch. Rhys, where are you? Because there are so many people in Christchurch who are either not allowed or don't want to go back into their homes, which may have been weakened by this quake. There are welfare centres being set up. Just describe to us what's happening, what you're seeing in the city tonight.
To be honest, I'm actually located up on the hill, and we're blessed in that we've had power granted back to us probably for the last maybe hour and a half now. So even though there's another aftershock are still coming through violently, it is comforting to be in a lit room in a warm house with water, electricity and internet access. I, about an hour ago, attempted to contact some friends and family living out in the eastern suburbs towards the coast, and very promptly just got stuck in traffic jams. So there are people still out there, obviously, in the commute home from work, who probably haven't seen their family, haven't seen their children home from school, who just don't know what their evening has in hold. Not to mention that the numerous people sort of roaming the streets looking for one of the many shelters that have been set up to provide support, because there are just buildings absolutely torn apart this time.
Yeah, and your family and friends are okay? Are they all accounted for?
The family and friends are all accounted for. We've had to relocate certain members into other houses. One of the houses was up on a hillside, and that is a cliff out near the beach. It's unlivable now. You won't be able to reside in that residence. It's been the walls torn off it, the roof just hanging there. So I think everyone in the city will find in the next next day or two that they are more awfully affected by this earthquake than they first imagined.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Rhys. All the very best for you and your family and friends. Rhys Taylor joining us there from Christchurch.